Lights on, cameras rolling. A shift is underway. Hollywood's next generation isn't asking for approval, they're taking control. They're bending the rules, breaking expectations, and reshaping what success looks like. These aren't traditional rising stars. They're artists, activists, and unapologetically real voices who refuse to make themselves smaller for anyone's comfort. They grew up in an era where visibility can protect you and expose you. Instead of hiding, they chose the spotlight, daring the industry to face them. From global franchises to indie breakthroughs, from viral moments to award-winning performances, these young talents are proving one thing loud and clear. Authenticity isn't a weakness, it's power. They aren't just playing roles in Hollywood's story, they're writing new chapters the old system never saw coming. This isn't the future on the horizon, it's happening now. Before we dive in, take a moment to subscribe and turn on notifications. Stories like these matter. They deserve to be heard, shared, and seen, especially by those still searching for themselves. The Heartstopper who changed everything. At just 20 years old, Kit Connor has become a symbol of hope for a generation craving honest queer love stories. His role as Nick Nelson in Netflix's Heartstopper isn't just a performance, it's a quiet revolution. Wrapped in softness and sincerity, the show's joyful portrayal of young queer romance has reached millions, offering representation past generations never had. Kit brings warmth and vulnerability to Nick's journey of self-discovery, making every awkward glance and emotional breakthrough feel deeply real. But the line between character and real life blurred when online speculation about Kit's sexuality grew overwhelming. In 2022, he felt forced to come out as bisexual on Twitter, writing, "Back for a minute, I'm bi. Congrats for forcing an 18-year-old to out himself." The moment sparked global conversations about privacy, pressure, and the unfair expectations placed on queer actors. Despite it all, Kit has continued to use his voice with intention, advocating for bisexual visibility and reminding audiences that identity should unfold on one's own terms. Co-star Joe Locke praised his emotional intelligence, both on screen and beyond it. While awards followed, Kit's real impact lives in the countless young people who see themselves reflected in Nick's confusion, courage, and self-acceptance. Bella Ramsey, the star who refuses every box. Bella Ramsey captured the world's attention as Ellie in HBO's The Last of Us, but their journey began long before that, first appearing as Lyanna Mormont on Game of Thrones at just 10 years old. Now 21, Bella identifies as gender fluid and uses they/them pronouns, speaking openly about their evolving understanding of gender. They describe gender not as a fixed label, but as something personal and fluid, rejecting rigid definitions that feel limiting. Their portrayal of Ellie, a queer character whose sexuality is simply one part of who she is, has been praised for its emotional honesty. Bella brought raw intensity to Ellie's trauma, love, and resilience, creating one of television's most unforgettable young leads. Pedro Pascal called their performance astonishing, noting how completely Bella disappears into each role. Off-screen, Bella speaks candidly about mental health, body image, and the importance of letting young people exist without constant scrutiny. They push back against invasive questions while still standing firmly for LGBTQ+ representation. As Bella once shared, "I guess my gender has always been very fluid. If someone called me he, it felt a bit exciting." Bella Ramsey represents a generation that refuses limitations, proving that authenticity fuels the most powerful art. Lachlan Watson, the non-binary trailblazer. Lachlan made history at just 16, becoming one of the youngest non-binary actors to portray a non-binary character on television as Theo Putnam in Netflix's Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Now 23, Lachlan stands as one of Hollywood's most thoughtful voices for non-binary visibility and trans rights. Their journey with gender began early, shaped by a world that constantly demands clear labels. On Sabrina, Lachlan worked closely with creators to ensure Theo's storyline was handled with care and authenticity. The result was a nuanced portrayal, capturing fear, courage, and the relief of being truly seen. Beyond acting, Lachlan's advocacy reaches far wider. They speak at colleges, testify on trans rights, and use every interview as an opportunity to educate, from explaining pronouns to confronting the dangers of anti-trans legislation. Co-star Kiernan Shipka called them an inspiration both on and off set. In a powerful Teen Vogue essay, Lachlan wrote, "When I was younger, I didn't have the words for how I felt. Representation would have given me those words sooner. Today, they're giving that language to thousands who need it." The champagne problem star who owns her story. Josie Tota came out as transgender in a powerful Time essay in 2018 at just 17 years old, writing, "My identity as a woman isn't a secret. It's central to who I am." Since then, she's built a standout career while fiercely advocating for trans youth and LGBTQ+ rights. Now 23, Josie is one of Hollywood's most visible young trans actresses, and she refuses to let anyone else tell her story. Before coming out publicly, Josie had already proven herself as a sharp comedic talent, with standout roles in shows like Glee and Champions. But her true breakout moment arrived with the Saved by the Bell reboot. As Lexi, Josie played a quick-witted, confident popular girl whose trans identity was part of her story, but never the whole story. That distinction mattered. The role was quietly groundbreaking. A trans actress portraying a fully formed teenage character whose plot lines revolved around friendships, rivalries, and everyday drama, not just gender. Josie's impact extended far beyond the screen. Her advocacy is bold, direct, and deeply personal. She speaks openly about the realities trans youth face, the power of family support, and the urgent need for trans stories created by trans voices. At the same time, she's refreshingly honest about the pressure of being a young trans woman in Hollywood, where visibility opens doors but also invites relentless scrutiny. Still, Josie's confidence never wavers. Her humor is her armor. In interviews, she blends sharp wit with serious truth, making complex conversations accessible. As she once joked online, "Being trans is so expensive. I should have been cis and saved my money." That mix of honesty and humor has made her one of the most relatable voices of her generation. The 13 Reasons Why star who transitioned publicly. Tommy Dorfman first gained widespread attention as Ryan Shaver in 13 Reasons Why, but it was her journey beyond that role that reshaped her public narrative. In 2021, at 29, Tommy came out as a transgender woman, later clarifying that she had been living privately as a woman for a year before sharing it publicly. Her approach was strikingly calm and unapologetic. She didn't frame it as coming out, but as coming into herself. In a candid Time interview, Tommy explained, "I view today as a reintroduction to me as a woman having made a transition medically." She emphasized that transition isn't a performance or a deadline, and that trans people don't owe the public constant explanations. Since then, Tommy has become a powerful advocate for trans rights while continuing to build her career. She's appeared in high fashion campaigns, spoken openly about representation, and consistently used her platform to uplift other trans voices. Her online presence blends glamour with activism, reminding the world that trans women live full, joyful, ordinary lives, not just stories of struggle. Tommy has also been fearless in addressing trans misogyny, calling out the unequal treatment of trans women compared to trans men in media and society. By setting firm boundaries around her private life while still engaging in difficult conversations, she's modeled what public transition can look like, grounded in dignity, clarity, and quiet defiance. Justice Smith, fighting for Black queer lives. Justice Smith, now 30, has steadily built an impressive resume, appearing in major films like Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom and Pokémon Detective Pikachu. But it was in 2020 that he revealed another layer of who he is, not through a press release, but through a powerful Instagram post during the height of the Black Lives Matter protests. Justice came out as queer while centering the urgency of intersectional justice, writing, "We must stand up for our Black queer sisters, brothers, and siblings." He continued, calling out those who spoke about racial justice while remaining silent as Black trans people were being murdered. His message wasn't about visibility for its own sake, it was a call to action. Since then, Justice has become a strong advocate for intersectionality within the LGBTQ+ movement, consistently highlighting how Black queer people experience layered discrimination. His performance in All the Bright Places showcased his emotional depth, portraying mental health with sensitivity alongside Elle Fanning. Director Brett Haley praised his rare ability to convey vulnerability, noting the depth Justice brings